And now, the ninth Halo welcomes you to the adventures of Frank Gordon, Pan-Dimensional Corporate Espionage Agent. Episode 1, The Great Big Fucking Door. His story, like so many others, began with a bang and ended with a larger bang. The blue glass stained doors opened on their own for Franklin Miles Gordon. He wasn't a handsome man, and he wasn't an ugly man, but he was suave like a lion and cunning like an ostrich. There is surely another animal which he should share a trait. The owl, always up at night. Due to the high importance of the possible employers, he chose to wear his most expensive suit, which was purchased for the low price of 6 to 8 diamond farmers' lifetime wages. He stepped through the inner door into the ninth Halo's lobby. The lobby was yet to be complete, in a transition from some pointless rebellion post-Empire street art to a cleansed, relevant, baby-fresh sterile white. A large white marble desk ostentatiously sat in the center of the room. Frank approached it.
Hello? Hello? Is there anybody here? Hello?
A voice greeted him, sexy and robotic.
Hello, please state your name.
The voice came from an intercom grafted into the desk.
Franklin Gordon. Friends call me Frank.
Welcome, Mr. Gordon. You have 3 minutes remaining before your allotted time with Mr. Mann.
Yeah, I like to get to things early.
Please take a seat and enjoy the refreshments while you wait.
Frank looked around the room, noticing the distinct lack of both seating and refreshments.
I'm sorry, I don't see...
Repeating once. Please take a seat and enjoy the refreshments while you wait.
All right.
Frank stepped away from the desk and started to wander around the room, taking in its simplicity.
Please take a seat.
I'm sorry, there must be some mistake there.
Repeating once. Please take a seat.
But there's no chairs.
Repeating twice. Please take a seat.
On the floor?
Warning. Repeating thrice. Please take a seat.
Jesus. God. Okay, fuck.
With a sigh, Frank awkwardly lowered himself to the floor. It pained him deeply to treat his beloved suit in such a fashion.
Mr. Mann is ready to see you now.
You gotta be kidding. You just made me sit down.
Mr. Mann's office is located on the 60th floor, and it will take some time to get there. Please enter the elevator at the rear.
60th floor? Holy shit. Who is this guy? The Pope?
Repeating once. Please enter the elevator at the rear.
I don't see any...
Doors that may have been invisible before or just gone unnoticed by an unobservant self-inflated visitor slid open to reveal a black box. A neon light crackled to life, shaped like a hand and pointed upward with a finger. White lights raised in the box, giving it an attractive, inviting glow.
Oh, all right then. 60th floor. Sheesh. Yeah. Hey, there's not a single button.
The doors closed before Frank was able to fully express his confusion. As Frank looked around, the sterile magic box began to move.
Okay. This is weird.
Everything was white around him, except the pulsing neon hand. He could feel the box moving, taking him where he could only imagine was up.
Guess this thing must have an auto stop?
Almost as soon as it had begun, the elevator stopped and the doors opened. Frank looked out into the gray hallway. Although the color motif had changed, the clinical feel remained the same. He stepped from the elevator and the doors closed instantly behind him. He looked down the hallway at a bright neon sign that simply read, Mr. Mann, and had an arrow pointing. With less than a shrug, Frank obediently walked to the sign and followed the arrow. A half hour later, Frank had developed a thin layer of sweat. He was pretty sure he had been walking in circles since things perpetually looked the same, and he was almost positive he had been making nothing but left turns down the hallway.
Come on. Where the...
Ow! Suddenly another unnoticed door opened and slammed Frank in the face, knocking him to his rear.
Goddamn motherfucker!
He shook his dazed head. Standing before him was someone wearing what could have been no less than $1 billion suit constructed of the finest fabric, dreams, and tears of children.
You must be Mr. Franklin Miles Gordon.
Yeah, yes, you can call me Frank.
You're late.
Oh, come on now, that, robot thing...
It is in poor taste to blame someone else for your shortcomings, especially an inanimate object.
I'm sorry?
Apology accepted. Now that I've made an appropriate first impression, I'm Mr. Man.
Oh, shit. All right, pleasure to meet you.
Their handshake was strong as steel, electrified granite. Mr. Man pulled Frank to his feet.
Come this way.
They passed through the once hidden door and walked down another perfectly welcoming hallway.
You've heard of us, the Ninth Halo Corporation, before, yes?
Sure, who hasn't?
Who hasn't, indeed? We've been doing quite well for ourselves in the last few years. So well, in fact, that we've been able to dabble in some very special research.
What? Like cloning?
The cloning facility is not located here, but products such as Expanding Puppy, 1 Week Frog, and Rat Smash have been testing very well. We're expecting to have a full product launch in several months.
That truly is amazing.
Smoking assholes, Frank. That is not why you're here. We've been looking into a new form of travel, something similar to a vacation getaway.
Intriguing. Go on.
We need someone who not only has the smarts of a platypus, but also the power and constitution of a racehorse.
I naturally possess all of that and more.
No one likes a show-off.
Of course not.
Good. Before we begin, I must ask, do you like money?
Excuse me?
Do you like money?
Of course. Who doesn't?
You'd be surprised. The desire for security is sometimes disguised by the sheer enjoyment of being rich. Those who like money know how to spend it. Do you like my suit?
It's very nice.
Feel it.
Frank reached out a hand and gently brushed the sleeve offered by Mr. Man. It was the softest and finest fabric Frank had ever touched.
I never felt anything like it.
Of course you haven't. It's the best money can buy.
What's it made of?
Puppies.
Excuse me?
It's woven from the fur of puppies.
But how?
Our first venture into cloning produced some less than desirable outcomes. It seemed like a shame to waste such large amounts of perfectly good thread. While the fur itself was just a perk of working for the Ninth Halo, finding one interested in turning it into a usable form was much more difficult. That costs money.
I see.
That's the difference between me and others who desire money only as a means for survival. If you accept this position, you can afford hundreds of suits made from puppies. Please, through here.
Yet another fucking door opened that Frank had not seen. This place hasn't fucking bothered to label shit. The room was huge, feeling more in the scope of an airship hangar than an office building. Inside, a dozen scientists and technicians worked quietly at many fancy and complex stations. In the center of the room was a giant metal door housed inside a large glass dome. Mr. Man led Frank to a table with a few rather mundane items. One of the scientists greeted him.
Hello, Mr. Man. It's good to see you again.
Of course it is.
Is this the subject?
Indeed it is. This is Mr. Gordon.
Call me Frank. It's simpler.
I prefer to remain formal, 1515999.
Excuse me?
1515999 is your subject number. Dr. Hennessy can be forgiven for his clinical ways, I suspect.
Sure?
1515999. If I can beg for just a second of your time, I'd like to show you what you will be taking with you.
If you choose to accept the position.
This is a box of toothpicks.
All right.
Good for sucking on, good for style. Good for getting popcorn from between the teeth and gums.
Okay.
Toothpicks are universal, a truly common thread that runs through all minimally intelligent life. This here is a modded compass and positioning system. A sense of direction is always a must, especially if you're not sure where you're going.
Of course.
Moving on, 6 tabs of high-grade blotter acid. Each one offers a smooth, clear, easy-to-climb come-up period of 2 to 3 hours. This is followed by approximately 90 minutes of complete zen and oneness, followed by 3 to 4 hours of a gradual, relaxing come-down. During the trip, the 90-minute peak is the time to ask whatever questions you have.
I see.
Here we have 200 index cards and 3 fresh-from-the-package felt-tipped markers, fine points. This, of course, is the Hoverfeet Mobility Expansion, enhanced for a longer duration. And this is an Air 11 disposable 7-shot phase disruptor.
Oh shit, I remember those. Those are those burner guns you guys made? Does it still secrete emergency anti-print oil?
It does. The phaser is in perfect working order.
We did pull them off the market after the unfortunate incident involving a 6-year-old and the president. It was never our intentions for the weapons to be used in any criminal way. It broke the corporation's heart to learn that not everyone has noble intentions.
I can't imagine. Must have been terrible.
Indeed it was. We lost millions.
Well, We also have a new device that we have just finished testing.
Dr. Hennessy picked up a small, shiny metal object, no larger than a Zippo lighter.
The WG.
WG?
The WG, the wish generator.
This is programmed to generate over 400 different wishes, from something to eat to a better car.
That's...
Yes, it's truly amazing.
All you do is pop the top and choose what wish to make from the list insert inside. But each wish can only be generated once, so make it count.
When are you gonna start selling that?
Wednesday.
How much that set you back?
Manufacturers retail $60 million. Of course, during the first 6 hours, it will be half off.
Lastly, this.
The doctor displayed a small, beautiful leather bag with a fancy, adjustable leather strap.
It's an inertia conduit storage and commu bag. Perfect for storing every item here and doubles as a pan-dimensional communicator. There's this button here.
Yeah, I see. I see that.
And when you give it a press, we'll have perfectly open communications with you for the next 15 minutes.
Okay.
Just make sure you don't try and contact us on our lunch break.
Now then, it would be a good time to show you the door.
But I haven't said no.
Not that door, Frank. The door.
Mr. Mann guided Frank to the large glass dome. The door kept inside was rather massive, built large enough for a giant or whale to pass through, constructed of some kind of metal that vibrated.
This is something we at Ninth Halo are extremely proud of. It is no less than a gateway.
A gateway to where?
Anywhere. As of now, the possibilities are limitless. We do not know all of the places to go, and that's why you're here.
A glass door slid open. Mr. Mann and Frank walked inside the dome.
You want me to test this?
We've already tested it, Frank. It's perfectly safe. Now we need to simply measure someone's enjoyment of it. This is the vacation of the future, today. Any place, anywhere, anytime, any when.
So I'm gonna be time traveling?
Yes, absolutely.
Why me?
Why not you? I thought you liked money.
Frank hadn't thought of that, and the rebuttal made perfect sense to him.
All right, I'm your man.
A scientist snapped the overblown bum bag around Frank's waist.
Watch the nuts.
Your jacket, please.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Begin ignition.
Beginning ignition.
What's going on?
We are preparing for travel, Frank.
Oh shit, okay, right now?
There is never a better time than the present.
Dr. Hennessy's voice erupted inside the dome through an intercom.
1515999. Do you see a light emanating from the agro matter rotation rhombus?
What the fuck are you saying?
The door! The big door!
That's a rhombus?
Are the sides glowing?
Yes. Yes, the sides are glowing.
Begin nocular tuning.
Binocular tuning.
Things began happening fast for Frank. Wind picked up inside the dome, rustling his once perfect hair. His tie flapped manically, trying to escape from its eternal duty of hanging from the neck. Mr. Mann stood headstrong against the wind, holding Frank's folded coat against his chest.
Make your way to the door.
Are you sure this is safe?
No, I mean, of course.
Frank, go to the door. It costs several $1 billion to keep it operational for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Fighting against the gale force winds, Frank struggled to make his way to the door. Electricity shot out from the cracks.
I don't know if this is such a good idea.
Just go. It'll be fine. Make sure you use the commu bag once you've landed.
Once I've landed?
Or stopped or whatever. Just make contact as soon as you can.
Now, 1515999. Open the door.
Where am I going?
I don't know.
And with that, full of equal parts bull-headed bravery and unwavering stupidity, Frank grabbed the handle of the door. It sizzled under his touch. The door disappeared and Frank found himself staring into an infinite space of infinite colors. Of course, before Frank had the time to process or even appreciate this bizarre beauty, he was sucked through the door.
We have liftoff.
Hey you. Yeah, you, listening right now. Isn't it time you spent some time in the future? Now you can. And it's never been so easy or so affordable. The Ninth Halo Corporation loves you and wants your life to be as complete and fulfilling as it is for the next guy or gal. That's why we're so proud to bring to you 3-second sight goggles. That's right, we said it, you heard it. 3-second sight goggles. All you need is one cranium-mounted set of goggles that allow you to see upwards of 3 seconds into the future. Want to know the end of the show? Use 3-second sight. Can't wait for that buzzer at the end of the game? 3-second sight. Want to know if you're getting fired? 3-second sight. Curious about that test score? 3-second sight. What's for dinner? 3-second sight. And it's so easy. The cranium-mounting self-screws into your head using your pre-drilled Omni holes and the UV-coated Apex goggles, patent pending, shape and adjust themselves to your ocular cavities. Whoa, don't blink. You don't want to miss the fun and excitement when you're looking 3 seconds into the future. 3-second sight goggles come in 6 different sizes, so everyone from Big Hungry Joe, Little Timmy O'Toole, and even you can get a pair. And each pair is only $40. Only $40. 3-second sight, only $40. Only $40. 3-second sight, only $40. 3-second sight, only $40.
No organ service rates may apply. Please do not attempt to use 3-second sight if you are prone to asthma, diabetes, cancer, ocular dystrophy, or random acts of pandemonium.
Frank could not grasp what was going on or what was happening to him. All of the colors swirled into one black vortex. He could feel himself being pulled towards it. Suddenly, color began to return. Yellow, blue, white, burnt sienna, atomic tangerine, all of the forbidden crayon colors. There was a park. The sun shined, birds sang. Several men sat around on benches and others played with their children on the playground. It was a beautiful scene. Frank began to fade in, similar to the ghosting effect of old TVs that would pick up the faintest hints of another channel's frequency. Frank looked at his hand. More accurately, he looked through his hand. His scream pierced all nearby eardrums. At least it would have if anyone could hear it. More heads began to turn in Frank's direction. People watched as this man faded in and out of their reality. Watched as he frantically tried to open the fanny pack strapped to him, as his hands went through what he tried to touch. For a brief moment, Frank was there, was fully intact, and his scream was noticed by all, and then he flickered away. The next moment, Frank found himself standing on a beach. He was solid. He could touch himself in any manner he felt fit, and he did, making sure his testicles were exactly as he had left them. They were. He opened the fanny pack, he found the button for the communicator and turned it on, as instructed.
Frank to 9th Halo? Frank to 9th Halo, over.
1515999. It appears you've landed.
Okay, if that's what you want to call it, over.
We only have 15 minutes of communication before the infinite battery requires a 6-hour recharge.
6 hours for 15 minutes? Shouldn't your R&D or whatever have made something, I don't know, that would have functioned better? Or at least given it a name that doesn't imply infinite usage? Over?
If you understood the distance traveled by our communication signals, you would understand that 15 minutes is a miraculous amount of time in and of itself, and that the infinite battery...
Just tell him what he needs to know, Hennessy.
Of course, sir. 1515999. There should be a large building across the street. The address is 17 Rock Cock. Do you see it?
Nope, there's no buildings here. Over.
Very funny. There should be a small, Porto-John to your right. Enter the Porto-John.
Don't see one of those either. Over.
1515999. We need privacy before we can continue this conversation.
Quit fucking around, Frank. Do what Hennessy says.
I'm not. There is none of this shit here. Over.
There was a long pause on the communicator. Frank walked around the beach, checking out his surroundings. Indeed, it did seem like a rather nice spot for vacationing. Perhaps there were cabanas tucked back just beyond the tree line. Frank wondered what the chances of getting a stiff drink around here was. Frank was known to be a sucker for tequila. A huge shadow briefly blocked out the sun.
Huh?
By the time Frank looked up, the sun was shining upon him again. He scanned the sky and saw nothing. He continued walking.
Dr. Hennessy? Mr. Mann? You guys there? Over?
Stop the goddamn radio lingo, Frank. It's not a fucking walkie-talkie. We can talk at the...
Okay, asshole. Then tell me where the fuck I am.
Frank was greeted by more silence. He sighed as he approached some large rocks that looked suitable for climbing. Frank began to scale them, and soon enough he found himself on the top, getting a much better view of his surroundings. The water was so clear it was the softest baby blue he had ever seen. Leading to the beach, Frank saw, were miles and miles of thick green trees. Frank had never seen so many trees in his life, and the sight took his breath away.
Holy shit, that's like 100 forests.
The sun was blocked again. Frank looked again, faster, he thought, than before.
What the fuck is that?
1515999. What do you see?
Not much and everything. I don't...
Describe what you see.
I'm standing on some rocks. I'm at the beach. I think there's an ocean. And then there's like a fuck ton of trees. And I think there's something else.
What something else?
Something flying.
Something flying? A plane?
Like a big bird or something?
Okay, 1515999. This is extremely important. There was a hiccup in the replacer program, and you have been dropped off in an unknown location.
Oh, wonderful.
Don't be alarmed. We're currently working on reactivating the door, and as soon as it comes up...
Yeah? As soon as it comes up? What? Hello? Ah, fuck.
The 15 minutes of communication was up. Frank was on his own for the next 6 hours.
Goddamn overpaid geniuses. Probably making $1 billion an hour and they can't even make some stupid door open at some damn place that they want it to. Where the hell am I? Jamaica? What the shit is that?
Frank immediately regretted his desire to know. He could feel a presence behind him now, and when a shadow eclipsed over him, he knew something was terribly amiss. He turned slowly.
Oh, fucking Jesus.
It was some kind of creature. Monstrosity would be a closer word for what Frank was seeing. It had to be over 10 feet tall, part man, part bird, part screaming nightmare. And that is exactly what the creature did. Faster than he thought possible, Frank bounded from the rocks with the agility of nothing less than a mountain goat. Frank leapt the last 5 feet to the sands of the beach. He turned only then to look back at the rocks. The beast was no longer a safe distance away, but was now with him on the beach. It charged at him.
Oh God, don't kill me.
Every intelligent being is wired through evolution and instinct to deal with moments of intense stress, the fight or flight moments. Frank, however, seemed to be missing this essential ingredient in survival, as his first reaction was to drop to the ground and assume the fetal position. Surprisingly, the tactic worked, and the Birdman missed the snap with its huge beak, and momentum carried it over Frank, quite unwillingly. The Birdman kept its neck turned, trying to keep its eyes on Frank. This caused it to run directly into the rocks. Frank spared no time getting to his feet. He took off running to the tree line, not bothering to see if the Birdman was hurt, dazed, or just rightly pissed. It turned out to be rightly pissed. As Frank tore through the trees, carving a path, the only thing on his mind was the approaching Birdman. He did not notice the little things, like the bugs that resembled human fingers, or the large winged insects that seemed to have zebra-like patterns over their translucent wings. Some kind of small cat-like creatures with very human faces. No, Frank did not notice any of it. He just ran and ran.
Oh God, if I get out of this, I promise I'll start exercising. I'll give up burgers and fries. Well, they're not fries, but I'll do the whole my body is a temple thing.
The Birdman dropped in front of Frank, nearly knocking him over with a burst of wind kicked up by the long wings.
Really? I mean, really?
Frank slowly backed away from the Birdman as it approached him. Frantic, Frank reached into his bag, trying to find anything to ward off the creature. His hand grasped something small and square. Instinctively, Frank pulled the wish generator out and waved it at the Birdman. It took only a brief moment for Frank to realize what he was holding.
Oh man, don't fail me now.
Frank flipped open the lid, held the wish generator to his face, and wished harder than a terminal child would wish for box seats at a Lakers game. The Birdman edged closer, snapping his beak menacingly.
I wish this bird would leave me the fuck alone.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Did you say I wish for a banana?
What? No, I said...
Thank you. Please enjoy your banana.
There was a crackle, then a spark, followed by the briefest scent of ozone. Frank looked down to see an overripe banana on the ground.
Seriously?
Frank looked back up at the Birdman, who was hopping wildly. For a moment, the Birdman's attention was on the brown banana.
Do you like bananas?
With a swift movement, the Birdman scooped up the banana and swallowed it in one gulp. The banana, although considered a delicacy among birdmen everywhere, was just the weapon Frank needed. And just as quickly as the banana appeared, the Birdman was dead.
Well, that was surprisingly easy. Let's hope you were the only dangerous thing out here.
An unknown amount of time had passed. Frank had taken refuge in a large tree and was trying his best to conceal himself from anything and everything that was of this world. But for the most part, all was quiet and rather dull. Frank pressed the button on the bum bag.
Hey, hello?
And he waited for a response. Frank had seen more bizarre birdmen since finding his hiding place. But more often than that, he could hear other creatures, even more menacing than the birdman. Despite the imminent dangers around him, Frank was getting hungry. Never a picky eater, he eyed the body of the birdman, laying no more than 20 feet from the bottom of the tree. His stomach growled at him.
I bet it tastes like chicken.
That was a safe bet. Soon, using foliage and toothpicks, Frank had lit a small fire and plucked and roasted the leg of the birdman. Without a knife, the leg remained attached to the body, but at this moment Frank didn't care. He was filling his belly with the most succulent chicken-like meat he had ever tasted. Eventually, a passing creature in the shadows of the branches sent Frank scurrying back up the tree for safety. As he sat, he looked at the short purple worm crawling on the branch near him. Considering for a moment how poisonous the worm could be, Frank's decision landed on flicking the worm with his finger, punting it off into the forest. He wasn't sure, but Frank thought he might have heard the worm yell as it sailed away. It was so unsettling that he began to feel like worms were crawling up his spine. But don't take my word for it.
Damn. Feels like worms are crawling up my spine.
See, he pressed the button in the commie bag again.
Test. Hello? Is there anybody in there?
1515999. You're back. We've been waiting for you.
Hey, can you keep it down? I know how things look on your end, but there's some really weird shit going on over here.
Like what?
Like a giant fucking birdman, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, no shit. It was kind of terrifying, but quite tasty.
Tasty?
Yeah.
You ate it?
Yeah.
You find a large, intelligent specimen, the likes of which our world has never seen. And you ate it?
Well, I don't know how intelligent it was, but yeah, it was him or me.
Huh. How'd you kill it?
A banana.
Do I even want to know?
I wished for it. Well, it wasn't exactly...
Why would you wish for a banana?
Well, I didn't really, but it worked, didn't it?
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay then, 1515999. We've got the door ready for you.
The fuck use is that door to me when it's where you are and I'm here where I am?
The massive amount of energy used by the door leaves something like an imprint. All you need to do is get back to where you initially first set foot, and the door should take you to your next destination.
So there's just a wide open door on the beach right now.
Yes.
What prevents something other than myself from going through the door while it's open? For instance, a huge bird thing. What's to keep that from, going to my next destination?
Well, for all intents and purposes, the door is invisible.
So I'm just supposed to find where I stood when I first got here. I mean, it was a beach, so I guess there'll be footprints, but what if it was somewhere made of something a little more like concrete?
That's what the compass and positioning system is for. 1515999. Remove it from your commie bag. Do you see the red button located on the side?
Yeah. It's pretty small.
Press the button. It will lock on to the energy signature of the door. When you're standing in the door, the compass should begin to spin in all directions, but at that point, you should be traveling, so it's pretty trivial.
Okay, so follow the compass?
Exactly. Isn't that easy?
Should be. How long is the door open?
How long will it take you to get there?
I guess that depends on how much I want to live, you get me?
No.
Maybe 2.5 hours?
Jesus, 1515999, you sure did run like a scared little girl.
Seriously? Fuck you. You don't know how weird all of this is.
Don't I?
No? Well, I don't think. I don't know. Fine, whatever. I'm sure you get it, Dr. Long John.
Excuse me?
I'm headed back to the door.
Excellent. Remember, now that you've activated the commu again, it will take another 6 hours for it to recharge.
It would have helped if you guys packed some kind of timepiece with me, you know? So I'd know when 6 hours were up.
Well, there should have been an abundance of clocks where you were supposed to go. When you arrive at your correct destination, it won't be a problem. Just remember this. The Porta-John to your right is a safe place to make contact with us once the 6 hours are up.
Porta-John. Got it.
Better get a move on, 1515999. Billions of dollars are spent every minute the door is open, and us performing an extraction of this type is highly unusual.
Whatever. I'll be hearing from you on the other side, wherever the fuck it is.
That's the spirit.
Frank carefully scaled down from his tree and cautiously made his way back toward the beach, following the compass. He didn't take the exact path he made running into the forest, for fear of more birdmen seeking revenge for their fallen brother, or worse. As Frank neared the beach, he could hear waves breaking against the rocks. There was also something else, a smell. Something seemed to be burning. Frank began to see the beach and water through the trees as he neared. There was something else, something horrifying. A birdman was on the beach, along with several other creatures. There were large cat-like people resembling an unholy form of a lion. There were more bird things, grotesque mixtures of human and avifana. still others that seemed to share more characteristics with some kind of lizard or snake. Quick flicks of the tongue, squishy, wet blinks of the eye. All told, roughly 24 creatures gathered at the beach, burning something between them. Frank looked at the compass. From what he could deduce, the remaining energy from the door was coming from close by the terror party, but not too close. At least he hoped. It did seem to Frank that he would have to make himself seen to these monsters before reaching the relative safety of whatever came next. Frank reached into the combi bag and pulled out the Air 11 phase disruptor. He steeled his nerves, clutched the compass in one hand and the gun in the other. He emerged from the forest. Frank stepped onto the beach, but hugged the tree line as best he could. He took slow steps, trading glances between the compass and the monstrosities he was slowly nearing. Luck was on his side, because nothing had noticed him yet. But as the wind changed direction, so did everything else. One of the lion people immediately took notice, smelling Frank easily. Now every creature gathered at the fire was aware, and Frank had to look at the impossible life-threatening odds in front of him. The lion man leapt up and flew high above, spreading impossible wings against the breeze. Other bird creatures did the same. The lizard things scampered at Frank across the beach, using all 4 legs and closing distance rapidly. Frank looked at the compass, still begging him to continue forward towards certain doom.
Fuck it, I'll see you in hell!
Frank ran headlong, charging right back at the creatures. And then he was surrounded by the amazing technicolors again. They swirled around him, and the creatures, beach, forest, everything disappeared and all became black. When Frank appeared again, he was still mid-battle cry. Only now, he had returned to the park he was in previously. The men remained, playing with their children, enjoying what remained of the afternoon. But the sight of Franklin Gordon screaming at the top of his lungs, phaser gun drawn and running at top speed, gathered all the wrong kind of attention. As fast as he could, Frank stopped himself.
Hi, hey everyone,
He quickly put the gun back inside his pack and waved an apologetic hand to all who were taking notice. Frank looked around rather frantically, but then he spotted what he was looking for, what he was supposed to find. The Porto-John.
Well, when you gotta go, right?
The onlookers continued to stare, unblinking.
Excuse me?
And Frank carefully ran to the Porto-John, affecting a waddle that all 2-year-olds and their parents recognized. He pulled it open, and the stench of old shit and piss punched him hard in the face.
Oh, good lord.
Sucking up all his courage for what would not be the last time that day, he entered the Porto-John and locked the door behind him.
Okay. Now all I've got to do is wait for this fucking commu to get charged up again.
Knowing absolutely no better, Frank sat in the Porto-John for hours on end. Several times there would be a knock on the door, or someone would try to open it.
Is someone still in there?
I think it was that guy, the one with the G-U-N.
Maybe he's dead.
Sir, this is Public Safety Officer Colby Bright. Step out of facility, sir.
A public safety officer? She truly sounds aggressive. What will Frank do? Shoot her in the face, or wish her into the cornfield? In fact, what will Frank do with his remaining 399 wishes? Tune in next time to the episodic perils of Frank Gordon, Pan-Dimensional Corporate Espionage Agent. Next episode, Women!